All right, welcome to the xa'isla Handbook Part 5. So in this video, we're going to look at what are known as affricate sounds. So affricate sounds, much like alveolar sounds, are made by pressing. Let me highlight what I've read so far. Are made by pressing the tip of your tongue against your alveolar ridge. So again, we see the diagram with the tip of the tongue going to the alveolar ridge here, this little bump behind your upper front teeth. These sounds start off abruptly as glottal stops, then end in a kind of hissing sound. So that hissing sound is what we know as fricatives in linguistics. Fricatives. So they start off as a glottal stop and as a fricative. The S is the only purely fricative sound that doesn't start with a glottal stop. So the letter S here is a little bit different than the other three. So the S, you're shaping the sound by putting the tip of your tongue close to your alveolar ridge, and you're pushing out the air, and you're partially closing your teeth. And once the air reaches this small opening between your teeth, it kind of makes that hissing sound. That's what makes the S sound. And then if we go to the top of the page here on the other side, we see a list of examples of xa'isla words starting with these consonants. So the first one is the letter Z. Notice I said Z, not Z, because this is Canada where we say Z. And the letter Z in xa'isla sounds like a D and a Z together. So it's not like the English Z, like a zoo. It's Z. So just imagine there's a letter D in front of this Z. So instead of a Z, it's Z. And the word that we have as an example here in xa'isla is zahun. Zahun. And this is ulikan. So this is the most accurate pronunciation of this word. I do hear people say jukwin. That's not quite correct because you're not getting all of the sounds right. This is Z, not J. This is H. This X with the W makes a H sound. So it's Dahun. The letter C, you can imagine there's a little, it's basically like a TS. A T and an S together. So we have a regular C, which makes kind of a softer T sound. And the word here is tihua. And I should point out that there is a spelling mistake here. There should be a line on top of this X. So this is a regular X, or regular rounded X that's shown on the screen. It should be a rounded X bar. So the X bar is deeper. It's tihua. If this were a regular rounded X, it would be higher, like tihua. But that's not the proper way to say it. It should be pronounced with a lower sound, a deeper sound. Way to say it, it should be the X. So tihua. Tihua. And this is another word that's commonly mispronounced. I hear a lot of people say chikwa. So this is t. It's not ch. There is no ch sound. There's no ch sound in the xa'isla language. It's t. If you really want to pronounce things properly, the way that I teach it is, I call the way that I teach the language gyala kyala, which means the old language. So a lot of the sounds have been kind of softened with the influence of English. I don't do that. I pronounce the words, pronounce the sounds accurately as they used to be spoken before English became the dominant language in our territory. So it's Tihua as opposed to Chiqua. Tihua. And this is a wild crabapple. So that's a regular C, which sounds like T, a softer sound. This C with the apostrophe on top, or as I like to call it, the apostrophe, it's an ejective or explosive version of the regular C, and it sounds like T, T. So it's that same TS sound, but it's more forceful. You're kind of pushing the air out harder. T. So there's two apostrophes in this word here, and it's pronounced T'imotza. T'imotza. So you notice I'm pronouncing both of these ejective C's accurately. T'imotza. T'imotza. And this is translated into snag beach. So t'imos means like driftwood or logs on the beach, otherwise referred to as snags. So that's why this is referred to as Snag Beach. This is the traditional name for Kitimat village, T'imotza, which translates roughly to Snag Beach or place of snags. And then we have S. There's two of them in this word, which is sa'sum. Sa'sum, which means children. Something I should point out is that the letter S always sounds like S. It never sounds like Z, like zoo in English. It always sounds like S. So that's one of the benefits, one of the most effective things about the hybrid orthography is the consistency. The consonants always make the same sound. This Z is always going to sound like Z. The regular C is always going to sound like T. The ejective C is always going to sound like T. And the S is always going to sound like S. It will never sound like Z. So you should listen for that difference, S as opposed to Z. So that is the affricate sounds of the xa'isla hybrid orthography.